serve, set, match. Kuerten, 6-3, 6-4, 6-2.
What is up, everyone? Kate here from MPTennis. Hope you guys are doing great today. Back again with another racket review. We got some demos coming in from TW. Very happy about that being in the US, you know. Tennis Warehouse is very clutch, get up to 3 demos, so thanks Tennis Warehouse. But today, we got the Pro Tour 2.0, all right? So there's gonna be some folks that are familiar and maybe some folks that are not familiar with this racket. So this is like a legend racket, all right? This is the, limited edition, upgraded kind of version of the original Pro Tour, which was out, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, 80s, 90s. Kuerten used this for the longest time, Thomas Muster. Even guys like Andy Murray in the beginning of his career used like versions like this, but a little bit tinkered to his own, playing style. A lot of the rackets that are being used by head players on tour are like this, but a little bit more customized. So this racket is a 95 square inch. Note that I'm used to playing my whole, junior college career with 98 and 100 square inches. So this is very different for me. This was a different experience. But yeah, a sledgehammer really, and a pleasure to play with it because this is a very legendary racket. So I will tell you what I think about it, but before we jump into that, please like and subscribe. We're kicking some butt here. We really love you guys that are liking the content. Feel free to, drop likes, comment what you think about all of our videos. Let us know what you would like more, or if you think we could work on some things. Always feel free to even just say hi too. But yeah, moving forward, Head Pro Tour 2.0. What did I think of it? So let's just get this off the table. First, this is a racket that I will not be switching to. I like to say that in all my racket reviews because if I'm not switching to it, then, still means it can be a good racket, but I just like to say to folks, like, I'm not gonna switch to it. And I'm not switching to it because it's just, for me personally, it's too hard for me to use, and I'll kind of elaborate on that later. But first, let's start with, some pros and cons. This paint job, let's just get that straight. This is just amazing. I love the way this racket looks. Just to look at it is just like chef's kiss. Love it. It's got the grommet all the way around, so for you prestige users out there, if you have used a prestige in the last, couple of years, that's the 95 square inch variation. This might be one to look at 100% because it would play very much like a prestige. But yeah, no, beautiful racket. That's definitely a pro. The volleys, normally I go through forehands and backhands and stuff, so I guess maybe we'll do it that way and I'll get to the volleys and stuff. But from the back, it felt pretty average. With these rackets, it's rewarding flat hitters and people that hit really through the court. I'm not somebody that hits like super through the court, like first window. I'm more of like that second window, all around player. So I like to use spin and stuff. So this racket, I can do it. It just takes more effort. You're thinking of, a very closed string bed and a 95 square inch. That's just really difficult to generate like heavy spin, and I like to do that sometimes, especially with a full bed of poly. Like it's just hard to do physically. So that was one kind of thing that for me was kind of a knock, but for somebody that hits through the court, has a nice like flat backhand, this is crispy. This is, you're gonna love this. If you got a one-handed backhand, it's gonna feel great. On forehands, it felt, good. Backhands, good. Just had those knocks, like I said. This is where things feel so good, and you wish it feels good on the forehand and backhand because you love this area so much, and it's the continental game that's really a beauty with this racket. Slices, it's just so good. It feels so good. It's so solid. That's one thing with the 95 square inch rackets. I feel like they're just so like really solid. It feels good when you make contact in the center of the strings. Also note, it's hard to make contact in the center of the strings, even for somebody like me, that, you know, I'd say I'm a good tennis player. Like, it's hard to constantly hit this part right here. I feel like I'm shanking more. You're really able to feel the off-center hits. But anyway, back to the continental game. Very smooth. You come up to the net, solid. It just feels like bah, bah, bah. If you're somebody that loves to come to the net and you're used to using frames like this, you will like it, guaranteed. So slices, volleys, solids, overheads, beautiful. Very solid on contact, no issues at all. Definitely no, you know, when people hit volleys, they get off center hits, they have that little waggle or whatever this is. Everybody knows what that is, but we just don't know what we call it. And there was none of that up at the net, and there was none of that on the overheads. If we back up, you know, like serve and return, I struggled on return with this frame. It was a little heavy, but not heavy enough that I can't handle it, but more in the sense that my racket prep, it's like, it's there, but then I gotta make contact in the middle of the strings. So, for example, if I got a pure arrow and I have an off-center hit, you know, it's gonna go in, where this one is gonna land short or it's gonna be in the net. So I really gotta be on about my impact point. And you know, if you wanna improve those things, I mean, maybe use this racket for a few weeks and then you're gonna be hitting lasers with your pure arrow, Yonex Z-Zone, whatever. Because this one, you're gonna feel everything. You're gonna feel where it's coming off the string bed just because of how the racket is made. But yeah, if we back up, we got serves. This thing is very solid on serve, especially the flat serve. I felt like I was really able to pronate really well with this. And maybe it's because of the beam in this racket is a constant beam. I don't know if that has anything to do with like aerodynamics or whatever. But yeah, felt really good coming through the air on first serves especially. Might have hit one of my hardest serves ever with this racket, which is interesting because, you know, it's 95 square inch, closed string bed. I actually got to check. I believe it's 18 by 20. I can't believe I'm forgetting. Let me count. Yeah. Okay, so it's actually 18 by 20, very close string bed, like I said. So funny that I probably hit one of the hardest serves I've ever hit with a 95 square inch racket and 18 by 20, but I did. Felt very clean. But then when you get to, you know, kick serve, slice serve, you're throwing in spins, it's kind of like it's taking extra effort to do. And I just felt like it was too difficult for me to do that. And I was needing to use my body a lot more, and it wasn't coming freely like, say, a pure drive, pure arrow, extreme tour, etc. But if you're able to, you know, create that with your body and you're got good hands, then this is so good and it's so rewarding because you get great control with this racket as well. Yeah, I don't even know if it would really need customizing either. Just because it's such a solid frame, and a lot of pros are starting out with something like this. Obviously guys that are a little bit older on tour, that's what I'm talking about. Guys that are new, like the Curioses of the world, like those guys maybe aren't using something like this just because of a generational thing. But yeah, very solid. The other thing, the one thing that I don't like about this racket, I really don't like, is the fact that the grip is very awkward. And I think it's because they're copying the original version of this. It must be because of that, because where you have like your forehand bevel right down here, like this side is very, it feels awkward. It's like, if I compare it to another racket, like this side is wider this way, and this side feels not as wide. So when you're like, for somebody that would have an Eastern grip, it would feel very nice. But if you're somebody that has, you know, almost a semi-Western or Western, this is gonna feel extremely awkward because your hand is not in the same resting position as it would be on like 90% of other rackets out right now. So the grip mold is definitely something from the past that they brought back, I believe, but it's not something that I enjoyed. But this racket is definitely for somebody that can play tennis very well. College, high level junior, pro. If you're a coach and you love that classic feel, I mean, you're gonna want to get this because it feels really good on the good hits. People that aren't gonna want to get this racket, people that are starting out tennis, young juniors, U12, U14, this would be a nightmare to play with because you might not be able to get it over the net. Also, adults that are beginning, stay away from this. But yeah, if you can play tennis or just want to give this a try, do it. I mean, try all rackets. But yeah. Definitely enjoyed this one. It was very fun considering all the legends that have used this racket. But yeah, fun demo. Was happy to review it for you guys. Let me know if you guys got any questions at all about it, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for stopping by.